Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You are joined by two of your usual hosts here. We've got Tom Mannering.
Hello.
Who's laughing at me for being really enthusiastic about the introduction again. And myself, Josh Hartley. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm doing fine. That's not why I was laughing. I saw the record button flash up and you beat me to it, but just before you said it, I was going to interrupt and be like, hello, and welcome, and just try and throw you off.
Right.
But you caught me. You managed to get ahead of me.
Now, here's the thing. I've always introduced the episode when I'm on the episode. I never recall discussing this with, Ben or, when we first started. So I don't know why, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's my thing to do now.
It's like your trademark thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's how, a lot of, and I appreciate it's not a catchphrase, but that's how a lot of, catchphrases and things, especially in the olden days, it wasn't necessarily a planned, I'm going to do this and try and make it become my thing or my catchphrase. It just organically becomes part of the character, for want of a better term. So this is just part of your character. I'm doing finger.
Yeah, he's doing the finger quotes thing. You can't see that because this is audio only. But
you can feel it though. The audience can sense the finger quotes, implied finger quotes.
Can I just go off on a tangent here for a second, right? There's a guy I have to deal with in work, right? And he uses when he's emailing, he'll use the inverted commas a lot, but it will be for stuff that just doesn't make sense. It's like, hello Josh, I'm here to introduce another customer in inverted quotes. And I'm like, oh, right, what do you mean by that?
It could be worse, right? Because he could put hello Josh and have Josh in inverted quotes. Hello Josh.
Hello Josh, that is your real name.
Yeah, I don't know if you've probably come across this in your work as well, and I won't go too much into it, but I hate people who are passive aggressive in emails and stuff. Yes. And do things like that. The one that always cracks me up is, and you see it referenced in memes and things, is as per my last email. And it's yes, well, clearly, as per my last email, I didn't understand your last email, so get it around you.
I don't think I'm... If someone's really pissed me off by email, I will show it by ending my email, not with a kind regards, but a simple regards.
I do that. It's
right,
you've crossed a line.
So, hold on, right? So Ben ends all of his emails just regards.
Right.
And I'm I've said this to... You're telling the whole world you f***ing hate them. I'm going to have to bleep that out. You're telling the whole world that you hate them. But he doesn't. He I don't know. For him, it's just how he signs off emails. But I've spoken to people who don't feel the same way as us. Who feel just regards is perfectly fine.
See, I will only do that in a formal email. Usually, if I'm emailing a customer, another company, or something like that, if it's internal, I will say cheers, because it takes away any kind of concern over regards, kind regards, any kind of tonality.
Sure.
And it adds a slightly more informal sort of spin to it as well. But I totally get it. If I get one and it's regards, I'm well, who's got a bee in their bonnet today? Trying to find a nice way to say that. Don't know what I did to you, Sheila. Because it's always a Sheila.
I thought it was always a Karen.
No, Karen won't speak to the manager.
Okay.
Sheila's passive aggressive, which weirdly enough, my nan's name is Sheila. And she's very passive aggressive.
Oh. Okay, well that makes sense. Oh dear. Right. How's things been?
Things have been good. Things have been good. Quiet for the most part, as is par for the course in this world we live in at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few games on. I took a bit of a break at the weekend. I kind of shelved my games for the weekend and decided I was going to have some Tom time. Focus on me for a little while. But I sort of have had a slightly extended break from games, but got back on the horse or the starship, as is the case last night.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I like it.
And I'll talk about that a little later in the episode. But yeah, I've been good. We've got our Age of Sigmar after this recording, our Soulbound game. As well.
Looking forward to it.
But yeah, it's good. What about you? What's been happening?
Yeah, I'm grand. Well, we took a week off last week because I was taking a week off and specifically seeing my family again for the first time since like last summer. So that was really nice. I've got a nephew and a niece, Gabe and Ivy. Ivy's still a little baby. Gabe, when I last saw him, was like saying odd words, but that was it. His vocabulary has now exploded. It's not quite full sentences, but he's almost there. Like me and my sister, his mum, took him out shopping. We went to the toy shop and I bought him some like toy animals, and we took him for coffee afterward. Not him coffee. We gave him cake. Like we went to Cafe Nero though.
I was like, what?
No, we did not give a 2-year-old boy coffee. That is a bad idea. But like we sat him down and he had a plate of cake for him, and he's just sat there just going, "Cake, please." And I was like, "Oh, here you go, lad. Get it down, yeah." But his most commonly used word is no, by like some margin. Like, can you do this, Gabe? No. I wasn't. I know I asked the question, but I wasn't asking a question. Do this? No. Right, okay, I see how this is.
Got that rebellion streak really early into his adolescent years.
His adolescent years. Yeah, he's terrible
Teenager
twos.
too.
Terrible twos are a thing because he was screaming down the house once. So it's fine.
Kids are a blessing.
Yeah. I like being an uncle. Being an uncle's great.
Kids are great when they're not yours. That's kind of always been my, when you can go away from the madness.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
This is your problem now.
Yeah. This kid's being adorable. Oh, they're being a nightmare. Not my circus, not my monkey. See you later. It's kind of my stance on them. As long as I can walk away.
Yeah, as long as I can walk away, it's fine.
That's frowned upon if they're your kids.
Yes. Downright illegal, I'm pretty sure. I'm no expert, but to tie it in with hobby stuff. So first of all, I actually got my hands on some of my Christmas presents for the first time.
Oh, from last year.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I was like, this is a bit
year.
early.
I'm not getting Christmas presents like 7 months early.
I like the idea that you go visit home and you're in the attic straight away, like they'll be in here somewhere.
Where are they? Yeah. So I got roots, which I'll get to the table with my family at some point. We never got an opportunity to do it. It's going to be interesting seeing how that goes with them, because I think that's like right near the top of the sort of complexity level that I think my family would be able to like enjoy, if that makes sense. So that will be interesting. A couple of other... the disappointment was my sister got me the Call of Cthulhu's Investigator Handbook.
Right.
But it's damaged. We didn't notice because I wasn't there physically opening it myself, but when I opened it, it's like the binding's gone. So...
That's not good.
No, I'm going to see if I can get it fixed somewhere. Obviously, we're way too late to return it now, so...
Well, maybe if you contact Chaosium, they might do something for you.
Oh,
it's them that publish
never thought of that.
And it might be that it was part of a run. They've maybe seen a batch of these where there's been issues with something.
Right.
So give them a shout. Bit of advice there as well. If you have issues with books you purchase, speak to the manufacturer.
Yeah, go straight to the publisher.
Yeah. They may well help you out. I've had that a couple of times with like when I bought things like Legendary and Champions. I've had sort of miscast cards, where they're the wrong size,
right, okay.
And I've just gone to them and they've just like sent out the replacement card or similar, and I just went straight to the manufacturer, and that's from like the States.
Wow.
I had a really just to kind of give him a bit of credit, albeit 3 years later, I had a really good experience with Reaper, who do like the Bones miniatures, for D&D and stuff. And I'd bought a model from a brick and mortar store in Glasgow. Got the model home, and it was like a little treant man, and it was like a solid cast model, but then he had two arms that you'd glue on.
Sure.
And if memory serves, the right arm was there, but the left arm wasn't, because it was under the right arm. So I had two right arms. So I messaged Reaper, who are an American company, I think, and I said, look, I've bought this model of yours. I really want the model. I really like the model. The shop only has this one in, and they're not getting it replaced. It's got one of the arms. It's not got the other one. Is it possible you could send me out the other arm? And they came back to me within about 2 hours, which must have been like first thing in the morning for them. And they were like, we actually don't make that model anymore in plastic, but we've got the old metal cast. We've still got a few bits left. We can send you out that arm in metal, which is much more expensive. Probably that arm alone is more expensive than the entire plastic model. And from America, 3 days later, I got the metal arm through the post.
Nice.
So it was like, the customer service was amazing, and like the turnaround was really good. And it's that kind of thing that like always kind of leaves a really good impression in the back of your mind, like about that company, which is it's why I still buy Reaper Bones models and stuff whenever I need them, because I'm like, well, I know if something goes Pete Tong, I'll get a good service. Just to get back to what you were saying, go to Chaosium. What I want to know though, Josh, so you've gone home, you've seen your family. Did you play Scrabble?
Do you know what, Dan? We didn't.
No?
We didn't. No, we never got a chance. It was quite a packed week. I mean, to be fair, so my sister and her and my nephew, they were there for most of the week. And here's the thing, like, when there's a little kid around, like, people are either busy looking after the kid, or when the kid's asleep, you're knackered. So... and afterwards, my dad is a huge golf fan, and it was the PGA was on when my sister was away. So to be honest, like what me and my dad would normally do would be like sit down and play a game of Scrabble against each other. But instead, we were up in the living room just having some beers and watching the golf instead. Right. So yeah, but next time we'll have a game of Scrabble.
Okay.
But I did make a trip to Games Workshop down in Carlisle as well, to make some purchases.
Our old stomping ground, where we met, in fact.
In fact, indeed. And your old boss, Lewis, is still there, of course, so it was nice to see him and catch up. He was actually asking after the podcast as well, which was really nice of him.
But not me.
I can't remember him asking about you. I'm sure he mentioned you. I'm sure he did.
Yeah. Fond memories.
Yeah. But, okay, so I went in just to buy Black Primer, right?
Lewis sold you a lot more than Black Primer.
I came out with Black Primer, and then I was like, do you know what? I'm almost running out of the Iron Earth crust, like the texture paint for bases, so I'll get one of them while I'm here as well. I'm like, well, it'd be kind of rude not to buy a model as well, so let's have a look at the Necron stuff and see what's... there's a Catacomb Command barge. I'm going to need one of those at some point, so I'll buy that. Okay, I get to the till. Oh, do you know if you spend £14 more, you get one of these exclusive coins for free? Well, I've just got to buy another model. So I went in with the intention of just spending what is it, 15 quid for the spray paint, and left 60 odd pounds lighter.
Lewis he was great to work with, and he's a master of his craft, and. He's a very good salesman, but in such a way that it's not like sleazy sales.
It's just very natural.
It's really, yeah. It's like, oh, I do need one of those. It's almost sort of like a sort of passive telepathy or something, where it's like just implanting
Jedi mind
thoughts,
trick.
yeah, into your mind. Funnily enough, you went into Carlisle Games Workshop. I went into Glasgow Games Workshop on Saturday.
Hey.
So I also made my first sort of venture into town.
So you went when they were, because they hadn't started celebrating the store anniversary stuff when I was in on the Thursday. So you were there for that. In fact, I owe you money.
You do owe me money. I was going to bring that up just to make a verbal threat on the air. No. So I went in and I picked up some of the anniversary models for yourself and Ben. I picked up the new Necromunda set for myself because I'm some sort of weird crack addict when it comes to sets that have terrain in them. Because I wanted that, and Glasgow were great actually. Because I messaged ahead and I said, "Look, I'm coming in. I know it's going to be the anniversary. I know it's going to be busy, and I don't want to stay. I want to come in and I want to get out."
Yeah.
And I kind of planned ahead and said, like, if you can put it to one side, I can just come in, like, grab it and get out the door. And they were spot on. They had everything I wanted ready. I did end up like yourself. I went in and I was like, these are the things I want to buy. And they were like, oh, well, it's the anniversary. If you spend like £10 more, you'll get I think it's like a dice tray or something. I was online for. And I was like, well, I mean, I'd be a fool not to. So I ended up getting some Corvus Cabal, the
Warcry
Raven guys, because I really like those models.
Yeah,
and if we do play Warcry, that's going to be my faction of choice.
I remember seeing them being revealed at UK Games Expo,
and I went,
you were there.
Those are really nice.
Yeah,
I want those.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Memories.
Memories.
On the subject of Necromunda, so Ben's reviewed a copy of the recent Necromunda set for Foehammer.
Yep.
We'll link in the show notes. There we go. Kind of tempted to give it a proper go. What would you be up for it? And what gang would you want dibs on?
I would definitely be up for it, given I have 6 Necromunda gangs because I've bought all the boxes.
Okay, yeah.
As well as all the terrain and all the mains, like rule books. So when I actually did Necromunda back in the day when it was first released, and I'm going to mispronounce their name, but I think they were called Spryer or Scryer or something.
The Scryers,
and they were like nobles.
The rich kids.
Yeah, who like had all this high-tech gear and would hunt gangs, which is super dark when I think about it now.
It's 40k universe, I guess.
But they've not been released yet, which is a shame. I kind of hope they do get released because I really like the sort of background behind them. But I would do Adeptus Starbites.
I was kind of eyeing them up as well.
No, they're mine, Josh.
Okay, well.
Go on, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, here's the thing with the Necromunda kits. They are amazing. So much customization to it and so much detail. And that's kind of the problem, because the other one I was thinking was Escher, and I've built the Escher models that I have, but I'm looking at them and I'm thinking to myself, how on earth am I going to paint these guys? I'm going to mess this up so bad. So I was actually kind of thinking Arbiters, because they're probably one of the easier ones to paint out of the range, right?
I like the idea of police,
the police,
just like, oh no, the police, just you've got all these gangs kicking off, and then you just got the 5-0 rock up and just throw down. So yeah, I just kind of like that. I have 2 gangs of Eschers because they appeared in 2 of the boxes.
Yeah.
I have Meat Grinder Cult or something, I think they're called.
Yes.
Flesh Grinder Cult, I can't remember the name of them. I have Goliath, and I have Delac or Delacue, I can never pronounce it. Delac. So yeah,
I think Ben's wanting to do Delac.
See, they would be one of the other ones. The only other one I would consider is Orlok, because Orloks, I just like Orlok.
Yeah,
they're classic.
The biker gang, right?
Yeah, classic gangers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely something I'd be up for doing.
I definitely want to give it a go. Like, hobby-wise, I've still got, like, plenty of Necrons to work through, obviously. Having just bought more. So, it's been a while since I'll get around to painting something new. But
you're going to have a hell of a painted army when you get them all done.
yeah, and Ben's working on my Blood Angels at the moment. Well, actually, strictly speaking, right now, he's working on the Gene Stealers that are in Space Hulk. So, I think in a couple of months, that should all be finished. So, yeah. I've got, like, a fairly decent Death Guard collection, and I'll have, like, a pretty big Necron collection, and then hopefully a Blood Angels collection as well. So, I'll be the kid with all the toys.
Nerd.
So, yeah, well, this is what we are, isn't it?
I mean, it's what you are.
Wow.
That face.
Wow. I wish we were recording this video.
I've started planning a new army. Not for 40k, for Age of Sigmar. So I've obviously got Cursed City last minute. And the new Witch Hunter models come out this weekend. Well, they go for pre-release this weekend. I think it's Father and Daughter, if memory serves. Which I just adore those models, and alongside the heroes from Cursed City, I was like, well, it looks like I'm doing Cities of Sigmar. So I've planned out 1,000 points of Cities of Sigmar, which I will be doing come payday. I'll be bulk buying 1,000 points, and then that's going to be my challenge. It's going to be build and paint that. Like I'm going to put that on the table, and I'm going to get that. I'm saying it. I'm not necessarily going to do it.
You're committing to it on the podcast. So
yeah, I'm going to build and paint that, and that's going to be my focus.
So here's the thing that I like to do. I do like to set deadlines. Mm-hmm. So, do you have a deadline that you're going to commit to?
Probably not, because the reality is I am very busy with other things.
Sure.
I have work. I run far too many RPGs. We have our crossover potentially coming up at the end of the year. So, as much as I would love to say, yeah, I'll have that done by September, I probably won't. But I would hope to maybe have made a dent in it by the end of the year. That would be kind of my goal. If I have it built, sprayed, and maybe a couple of the units done, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, sure. Speaking of Age of Sigmar, the Soulblight Gravelords came out the other weekend, and I picked up the battle tome for them, so I've been going over that. I know what I want for the army, and it is all like Blood Knights and like vampire lords on zombie dragons. So I figured out how to build it. Again, it's an army that I want to look really nice, so I don't want to paint it myself. That'll be the thing I get. I'll ask Ben to paint once he's finished doing the Blood Angels. Yeah. For me. So,
that's cool. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
We'll be able to get maybe an Age of Sigmar game in at some point down the line as well. Craziness. 40k, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, we're treating ourselves. So I do have some. I know we've spoke about Games Workshop for a little bit. There is a little bit of news to touch on outside of Games Workshop. So my fondness of Marvel Champions by Fantasy Flight Games is no well kept secret. There are some that have hinted I have a problem. They're probably right.
We've outright said. No hinting.
So they've recently released, over the last few weeks, maybe even months now, they released the last 3 boosters for the Guardians of the Galaxy. So you had Star-Lord, Drax, and Gamora are either out or coming out very soon. But they've announced, I think it's today, it's either today or yesterday, they announced the new sort of big box expansion. So we've had the core set, we had Rise of the Red Skull, we had Galaxy's Most Wanted. The next one is the Mad Titan Shadow. So this is Thanos, his cronies, and the Infinity Gems. So they've spoiled a couple of the cards for it, and I won't go into too much detail because I appreciate I'm more interested in this than a lot of people will be. However, it does contain Thanos as a villain. It does contain the Black Order, who are his kind of cronies from the Infinity War film. It does contain the Infinity Gems, and it has 2 new heroes, if my understanding is right. This is the only thing I'm a little less excited about from it. So we've had like the Avengers in the core box, Spider-Man, we've had like the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, we've had a lot of really cool heroes, Doctor Strange, and then they dropped this awesome box that's got Thanos in it, and I'm like, cool, what are the heroes going to be? Now, Josh, you are a, at most, casual Marvel fan.
Yes.
So I think for you, this will be a good example of my issue with this box set. The 2 heroes are Spectrum and Adam Warlock. Do either of those names mean anything to you?
Adam Warlock, Jesus. Adam Warlock sounds like a nickname someone has given, like someone has given to themselves. He sells a bit of weed on the side. Like, that's not. Who the hell are they?
So I know them, right? Because I'm a comic nerd, and Spectrum has appeared in one of the recent TV shows. I won't say what, just because I don't want to spoil anything. She has appeared in one of the recent TV shows, albeit not by that name. Adam Warlock is hinted at in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and people did think he was going to appear in Infinity War, but he didn't, because he's quite relevant to the Infinity Gems. But they're quite obscure. Like, they're not mainstream heroes by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, so I suppose if his character is relevant to the Infinity Gems, that does make sense.
Yeah.
With him being in it. But pair him up with, I don't know, like, someone noteworthy.
Someone of some import. I mean, like, I'm not necessarily saying I even know who would have been better for this box. But Spectrum is a fairly, not obscure, but certainly doesn't take, you know, main billing.
Not a headliner.
Yeah. Adam Warlock, fair enough. If you really want to put him in there, fine. I think he would have been better as like a follow-up pack, you know. Although I wonder if they're kind of putting them in there because they're the 2 heroes they think people probably wouldn't get if they put them separately.
Yeah, there we go.
Because Thanos is going to be a big draw as a villain.
Yes.
And the Infinity Gems as a storyline is going to be a big draw, for sure. Which is great. And I'm all for that. But yeah, I was just a bit like, really? Like, these guys? So that was a bit... a small disappointment to what is otherwise a very exciting box set. And I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that in August of this year, if all things go to plan.
Ooh. Watch the space, guys. Who knows? We might get to play Marvel Champions at some point.
I mean, maybe. Who knows at this point? You know, I haven't played a game in so long. It's like that meme of the woman from Titanic. 82 years. That's how I feel like when I look at some of my games and I'm like, man, I remember playing those with people. I was chatting to a few of my friends that I used to do board gaming and card gaming with, and they were like, you know, it'd be nice to actually get together and play a game. I'm like, yep. Yeah, it would be really nice.
You are 100% correct.
I'm gonna steal the stage for a little bit longer as well because I wanted to talk about something else.
Star Trek.
If you're familiar, yes, Star Trek.
Star Trek. Nothing but Star Trek. Star Trek.
Are you alright? Are you having an episode?
I'm tired.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
So
I might cut that.
No, keep it in.
Okay, alright.
I want our viewers to get an authentic Josh experience because then they'll understand the shit that I put up with on a weekly basis. Wow,
man. You hurt. That cuts deep.
It's deep burn.
Yeah.
So I nearly forgot what I was talking about then.
Star Trek.
Yes.
Sang a song, damn it.
I know. Everybody knows. That'll haunt you now. You'll be like a CEO in like 20 years and one of your employees is just going to come out and play a song of you.
Have you met me? There is no chance I'm becoming a CEO.
No, mate. It's a new world. You never know. Anyway, so I think I alluded an episode or two ago that I was planning a Star Trek game. Star Trek Adventures. It's a system done by Modiphius, who I have spoke about and I've reviewed in writing on our website as well for some of their systems. And last night was my first game with my group for this, and it was awesome. I cannot say how good this system is.
Wow!
I really, really enjoyed it. It's both simple but robust at the same time. In that the basics are very simple to get your head around. You know, you can really kind of get your teeth into it quite easily. But then there's plenty of stuff you can expand on and kind of add to it. So we ran our first game set in the sort of next generation, tail end of the next generation era, with our crew and our ship. Although they haven't got to their ship yet. The adventure started with them en route to basically join their new ship on a runabout, a little shuttle. And they got, in very typical Star Trek fashion, they got a distress call. So they made a detour to deal with the distress call, and it was a science station that was dealing with some ion storm and radiation issues. So we had a little adventure, and it was a really good session. It was quite short because I ran just a very brief kind of introductory scenario. That it's actually the one from the core rulebook, so I won't give away too much, just so there's no spoilers. But yeah, we ran through this scenario in the back of the core rulebook, and it's great. Like it's much like how I run Star Wars for you, and we found it to be quite a narrative system that encourages sort of player agency and player, almost giving the players a little bit of control over the game, so it does become that collaborative storytelling experience, which sounds really douchey, but it is.
No, but like that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
that's what RPGs are all about, right?
In theory. So yeah, it really kind of encourages that sort of play style, where you are all kind of engaging with the story and you're contributing to crafting it. Has some really interesting mechanics. It uses something called momentum, which is as you succeed on tasks, you build up momentum that can help you succeed on more tasks.
Oh, cool! Right.
But it's a resource you still have to manage. But conversely, the GM builds up threat, which does similar. So it's a little bit like the light side and dark side points that you have in Star Wars, but they work slightly differently in how you accrue them and utilize them. So that was really, really cool. Really enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to running some more of that in June, and I'll maybe keep you updated on that. I'm going to see if I can get my players to maybe do some like character logs. You know how they have like the captain's log,
star dates, yada yada yada. Yeah,
I found so I spent a lot of time prepping this game. I think I showed you a picture.
Yes.
I spent all of yesterday prepping this game, as well as the prep I'd done in advance. And I think more than any other game I've ever done, I invested arguably too much time into some aspects of this. So I had a soundboard for like sound effects in the game, like phasers, torpedoes, tricorders, beaming effects, the works. I did music and things which I would normally do anyway on Roll20. I did what's called a Lacars interface, which is the backdrop they have on the ships, like the ship's computer screen. And that's what I used, and I showed that to you, Josh, where I put all like the characters' profiles inside it as well, so they had like kind of their manifests on the ship screen, and that was kind of the backdrop on Roll20. One of my players is a bit of a whiz at video editing, and I'd kind of told him what we were doing, and he put together a little like intro video that's like kind of the credit scene at the start, so it has music and like the ship flying around. And
do you get the next generation music as well?
We didn't use the next generation music because we wanted to have to have its own theme tune.
Okay, cool.
So we took, I can't remember which one it is, but we took basically one of the orchestral scores from one of the original season movies. I think is it The Journey Home? Might be The Journey Home, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And he had had voice dubbing over it and everything as well. So we had like as the session opened, and I'm going to get a bit nerdy here, but we did like a cold open, which is for people who don't know the lingo, is like the scene that happens before the credits roll.
Yes.
So we did kind of a cold open where the characters were introduced and sort of this distress call comes in and they put in a course, and then like I ran the credits. Well, he ran the credits for me. And we had the credit scene, and then they come back, and like I did commercial breaks through it as well, so we could like there weren't commercials, didn't go that far, but we took like breaks for like when commercials would roll as well, so that you kind of go away and stuff. So it was really good fun, somewhat a bit different, and just kind of expanding my range a little bit.
I know it would never have even occurred to me, but yeah, it's not often. I haven't played. I tell a lie, there's one game that I've played that is set in a universe that's primarily a TV show, and that's that one-off of DuckTales that you did for us. But yeah, that of course that's like quite a unique thing to Star Trek amongst like the regular sort of RPG settings. Is it's based on a TV show, so you can have fun with that as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because they factor that into how the game works. So it actually uses some of the lingo around that. So you have scenes. So you would have a scene, and then you have like a scene transition, and that has an in-game impact. So like when you transition from one scene to another, you lose momentum. But equally, when you transition from one scene to another, you heal up a little bit, because you tend to find in TV shows people heal quicker, so that, they can keep the story moving. So you have things like that that are kind of built into it, which we kind of noticed is a bit of a missed opportunity, because as much as they have that, the games master is still called a games master, and we were like, should he not be called a director? In this circumstance? But it's interesting because I never really, for as long as I've played role-playing games and like D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, I've always just sort of ran it as if I'm almost kind of a narrator. But something I learned from kind of watching some other shows and sort of interacting with the GMs is almost directing it like a film or a TV show, and like describing almost what the camera sees rather than what the players see, which works surprisingly well because it allows people to visualize it.
Yeah, I noticed you started doing that with Star Wars, which makes sense, again, being based on a film franchise. And you would talk about it like we were watching a film and discuss how camera pans up or pans down to the planet, that sort of stuff. And it's cool. It's different from like playing your Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder, but like you say, it helps people like visualize exactly what's going on, which is neat.
It gives you that atmosphere of it being a film, or and because you relate that. You think Star Wars, you think film, or TV show now. You think Star Trek, you think show, or film, because that's both as well. But you don't think that with like Pathfinder and D&D for obvious reasons, because the D&D of film's garbage. So
I've got it. I've never watched it.
You've never watched it?
I've never watched it.
Go and watch it.
Someone got me the DVD years ago, and I've got that, and I take part in a White Elephant, and Barry got me. Barry being one of the guys we play RPGs with. I happened to pick the present that he chucked in, and he got me Howard the Duck. The film.
Oh, that's a bad film as well.
So I need to watch that as well.
That has not aged well.
So I hear.
In the Me Too era, that is. Not...
like the duck looks nightmarish. On it.
No, you should watch the D&D film. It isn't good, but it is an experience you need to have. Because Jeremy Irons chews the scenery in a way I have never seen an actor chew the scenery in my life, and it's so. Whoever put that film, I'm getting off topic, right? But whoever put that film together,
why break the habit of a lifetime?
Screw you. Has never played a game of D&D in their puff, right? Because it doesn't relate very well to any half decent D&D adventure. The characters are either like borderline offensive cookie cutter stereotypes, or bland as anything. I can't remember. I think it's like, I can't remember her name. The woman who plays like the princess in it is a good actress, but in that film she is terrible. She was cashing a paycheck so hard that you wouldn't believe it. But there's a guy in it, and he kind of makes it and gives it a little bit of charm without intending to. I don't know the actor's name. He's not a big actor, but he plays a character called Damodar, and he is basically he's Jeremy Irons, who's kind of the mad wizard, if you will. He is his bodyguard and henchman. But this guy, bless him, he wants this to be a serious film. He wants this to be his career maker, and he gives it his all. And he can't, because it's a terrible film. But he gives it his all, and they've given him this like really bad looking armor that looks like it came out of, like, a costume shop. He's got like purple lipstick on, which is fine, but is never like addressed that he's, you know, anything like that he's some sort of strange race, that he has some sort of infection, you know, that whatever plays into this, whether it's
just like a scene kid, basically.
Yeah, it's like he's like a big butch bold guy with then this like purple lipstick, and fine, that if that's his style,
it's an aesthetic,
you do you know? But it's just so like jarring against everything else, kind of without any context. And he tries to do this like one dramatic scene where he's, again, off topic, he's talking to the wizard girl in it, and he's basically, the main bad guy's infected him with something, and he's talking to her, and he's like, look at me, and he tries to deliver this like seriously pained line, and you're like, ooh, this is not good. So yeah, go and watch it.
Okay,
heartily recommend.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, that's my take on A, the D&D movie, and B, the Star Trek role-playing game by Modifius. Check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah. No, it sounds awesome.
It is. It's really good.
Anyway, I think on that note, shall we wrap things up for this week?
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, guys, as always, thank you very much for listening. And until next time, take care. Bye.